Hello and welcome to episode 50, the big 50 celebrations in order. Gary, how are we?
Very well, sir. How are you getting on?
Good, mate. I can't believe I've made it this far.
It's mental, isn't it? Fucking episode 50. I'm pretty sure a few episodes ago we said we were going to do something special for episode 50, and we've done fuck all.
Well, at the rate it took us to get music, I thought that was it took us about 47 episodes. Cheers, Dave and Toby. But like it took us a while to get there. But there, that's the surprise that was launched about 7 episodes ago.
There we go. Aye. The fact that we've made it is the surprise.
The big surprise.
What's been happening? How has your week been? And of note to talk about?
I mean, last week I was on. Well, it feels a whirlwind, mate. I was on a retreat in Tipperary. I then came home for I've never been to Tipperary. It's about 2.5 hours away from us, 3 hours away. Came back home for like a day, and then we're at a powerlifting competition in Limerick. And then it was essentially beside Tipperary anyway, so I passed pretty much the same fucking roads. The roads I've never been on, I've passed again. There's nothing exciting about them. And then yeah, came back home, set up my first TripAdvisor review. It was not because it was an absolute shit show, but it was just one of those ones you pay 300 quid for a hotel room and they tell you that you can't access Netflix because some rooms you need to pay more to access Netflix, and that was enough to set me off. I'm like, well, I'm writing a review. I'm being a Karen here.
Did you one star it as well?
Free. No, mate, I wasn't like I can't. I'm not one of those people that's going to go slate the entire thing because of a few things. But I put a 3-star review in, so I felt accomplished doing that, mate. That made me feel good about myself.
Jesus Christ, that's when you know you're getting old as fuck, mate, when you start firing in TripAdvisor reviews because you can't access Netflix.
I know, mate. It was a pure da review as well. I was there with my wife and son. I was like, who's writing this, man? It's not me.
Jesus. Actually, like you're mentioning Limerick there just reminded me to apologise to our listeners that last week's episode was a day late.
Oh, fuck yeah. No, that was mad. Yeah. I was going to say, I was just, because I was only home for that one day, which was where I'd done the podcast. I'm pretty sure as soon as I got off the laptop, I just had the run. And I had the great idea. I'm like, I'm not going to bring my laptop with me. I'm going to take the weekend just to focus on the powerlifting competition. And of course, I'd meant to upload the podcast. Didn't happen. And then you'd message me going to need that uploaded. And I'm like, I don't have that laptop with me, mate.
It's all right. I'm pretty sure nobody even realised apart from whoever it is that listens to us on a Monday morning.
My ma.
You're like mama sometimes.
I put it on the comments on YouTube. I took full accountability. I was like, it's my fault.
Did you put it on the comments?
I put it in the comments, mate. It shows how much you fucking look at it. But yeah, put it on.
I know. Usually I get notifications, but I never got it this time. How did the powerlifting competition go?
Man, she smashed it. Tara, one of my clients, was doing it. It was stacked. Like the standard was very good. So she came second. Not gonna lie, like be careful about slating any sort of organisation on a podcast. But yeah, the way it was run was very different to the competitions that were run before. Normally we go to Northern Ireland powerlifting and it was Irish powerlifting, so it was just gonna say different. So it was kind of hard to keep up with what was going on at times. So I didn't know at one point if Tara was where the fuck she was, what was happening in terms of the leaderboard. So it was just a case of, in a way, that kind of benefited us because we're just going, you know what, we're not competing against anybody else. We're just going to go out and go numbers that are authentic to you. But she ended up coming second, and she came second by about, I think it was 5 kilos. But if I hadn't said to her, like, I think I'd last deadlift, I mean, the first two she'd done, I'm not going to lie, she'd say this by herself, they weren't her best lifts. Like, they looked very unstable at the bottom, and I thought, I think she's, like, absolutely spunked her load doing the squat in the first. Like, she's just, her PB, or squat, I think she's done her hips in, she's just not got the energy to do it. So, there was a question as to whether we go to 120 or whatever it was, and I was like, I don't know if she's got that in her, genuinely didn't. And I was like, possible, but just it's unlikely. So anyway, I was like, do you want to do it? And she's like, yeah, I'll do it. So stuck it in, and then she ended up getting second because she managed to do it, and it actually annoyingly looked far smoother than the 2 attempts she had previously at lighter weights. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
It tends to happen, doesn't it? You just find that extra wee bit of juice. Do you think, see if there was a leaderboard, do you think she could have made up the 5 kilos?
No, sorry, she only got second because she beat third by 5 kilos.
Oh, sorry, right.
That might explain that poorly on my side. But the woman who won it Um, she represents Ireland at an international level. I mean, like she won it by about like 40. I don't even know. There was a
Right.
big number she won it by. There was no chance we were catching up, and we were okay with that. Like
Hmm.
she just went to the competition because she wanted to gain points to enter some sort of competition that wasn't on our it wasn't on our radar anyway. So
Right.
no, Tara done very well. Very proud of her for it.
But essentially, yeah, the best of the rest.
Best of the rest, mate. Yeah, have that in your gravestone.
That's class, man. I'm delighted for her. Any was she PB in all lifts?
Everything, mate. Everything looked. Yeah, everything was a PB. PB's all round.
Fucking get in there, man. I love that. Absolutely love it. I'm on week 2 of my powerlifting 10-week powerlifting program cycle, and my body is fried. I'm only week 2, and I'm training 5 days a week.
5 days
Uh,
a week. You all right? We five there.
are we 5 there? I know, mate. I don't know how I'm going to keep this up over Christmas, but I will try.
They're not keeping up when you have a child. I'll fucking tell you that for free.
That's why I'm trying to cram it all in before the weight's here.
Banking it for the next 25 years.
So I keeping up with so far, mate. Although the only downside to my whole plan and program at the minute is I'm not feeling my body right, and I know I'm not feeling my body right. I'm just eating what I want when I want. Utter shite. Like if I feel like a bit of chocolate, I'm going for a bit of chocolate. Tanned the whole calendar yesterday as well. It's not even December yet. It will be the 1st of December when this is out. But
Just
yesterday,
clear up.
Thursday, eh?
You tanned an advent calendar and
Whole
in
calendar,
November.
mate. Whole calendar.
Jesus. Right, go on. Go on.
I came home last night for work and I was like, oh, I seen Rachel had opened a few of her doors, right? So I was like, I started to open a few of mine, and then I thought, fuck it, opened the top flap, and that was me. Whipped the whole calendar out. Thankfully, Rachel's mum who bought it doesn't listen to the podcast, so I'll need to buy a replacement one. But
I'm sending it
great.
directly to her. Going, listen to this.
Speaking of last night as well, that fucking result for Rangers.
I didn't see it, mate. I was washing my hair.
Come on, man, you're a liar. You just watch Rangers, Mel, and I watch Rangers. What are you talking about?
You know,
I
it baffles me, mate. Like we have a wee Celtic group chat, and like all the boys are like, this makes actual no sense. Like it makes no sense at all. You can't beat Kilmarnock, St Mirren, whatever, but you go out and you do that, and it's like it's consistent though. It's like it doesn't matter who your manager is, and you've had some with all the love in the world, absolute whoppers of managers over the last couple of years, and like you've got Baldy Beale in charge, and he's 5-1, 4-1, 5-1, whatever it was.
4-1, aye. Baldy Beale, that's class.
I've no idea what was going on, but yeah, I was going to say there you are doing it for the Scottish coefficient again, so that we
I
can get
know.
Champions League when you finish second or third again.
Exactly. 100%. I mean, it's looking like fourth at the
Yeah.
minute. Shit, there was something I was going to say to you there. Two big games coming up next though, so we probably won't get in. Although we might take something for Man U.
Oh mate, they are like abysmal. If anything, I already was thinking this. Like, yous are so good in Europe, and they're just shite. Full stop. I'm like, it's destined that usually end up going to win that 4 or 5-1.
Oh, imagine, and it's at Old Trafford and all. How fucking good would that be?
Oh, mate, I was going to say the atmosphere's dead in Old Trafford anyway. Like, you wouldn't be able to fucking tell if you're winning or losing anyway.
The thing is, though, we've got Big Ange back at Ibrox, so he's going to absolutely wipe the flyaways.
I'd say, yeah, there's a good chance just with his style versus yours that he's going to absolutely pump you. But like, he's a win against Man United, so it's like it's one each. We just got one each.
Hopefully. I can see Tottenham, Rangers Tottenham being a Celtic Dortmund scoreline.
Yeah, just a bit forgotten of that, mate. Thanks for the PP. I,
Not letting you live that down. That's the only thing I've got to fucking shout about this season.
what was going to say? We'll ask you a question. So,
Yes.
the gym. I was at the gym this morning. I've just had one of those days, but was at the gym this morning. I was out there with AJ, been on the podcast before, them to listen. But there was a guy. So AJ was taking some training videos. Now, in fairness, AJ had his phone down on a bottle, same bottle trick that we all fucking do is shaker, phone on the shaker, down at the bottoms. He started the cables. Was actually doing his own thing, but a guy came over to the cables beside him. Now, bear in mind, there's tons of cables in the gym, but he decided to come to one beside AJ. Obviously, realised he was recording, but then pretty much just started berating AJ for recording, calling him disrespectful, calling him whatever, and then saying that he shouldn't be recording. There's gym etiquette and all that. What is your thoughts on recording in the gym?
I think it's absolutely fine. Like, personally, I think it's absolutely fine. If, however, you are, excuse me, if you're setting your camera up and you know there's going to be someone in the background, politely ask them, is this okay?
Yep.
Would you mind? Because I've done it in the gym myself, even the gym that I work in. I walk about with a fucking tripod in the gym that I work in. There's barely any people in during the day, so it's great. However, if I'm recording the whole gym and there's two people down at the bottom, I'll go down and say to them, look, I'm recording a wee video. Do you mind? 9 times out of 10, no problem at all. Sometimes you'll get the occasional person that say, oh, I'm just about to finish my set, can you hold off? No problem at all. But it's always a nice interaction. If AJ was recording first and that guy came up into his video and then started berating him, then that guy's a prick.
Yeah.
However, he could have approached it differently. He could have been a bit nicer about it and said, look, do you mind turning your camera on or whatever? Pausing it.
Mate, 100% agree. That's what I said as well. I was like, the guys came into your space at that time, and it was actually a quiet enough corner. So I'm like, the guys came into the quiet enough corner and came in mid set. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
even just like politely whilst they wasn't doing it, and it was mid set and saying it, which annoys me when MD speaks to me mid set, full stop. But yeah, I was kind of probably the purposes of recording yourself while you're training anyway. A lot of people can go, "Oh, it's just for Instagram. It's for whatever,
It's
looking good."
not, I.
It's absolutely not. Like you when you think you're doing something, often how you feel isn't actually accurate as to how the movement looks. So particularly when you get to more complex movements like barbell movements, it's very difficult to actually know how your body's moving. You can think something feels great and it looks fucking horrendous when you look back at it. Don't give us for MD listening going, oh, you can look at yourself in the mirror. You absolutely fucking can't. You'll look worse looking in the mirror, because the moment you're squatting and you're meant to be looking down in front of you, see if you're looking at yourself in the mirror, guess what's happening? Your chest is then rising, your lower back's fucking, you're overextending it. Stop looking in the mirror, you fucking gimp, and you'll
Aye.
be reactive to it as well. In the sense that if you're staring at yourself in the mirror, which is also probably should ask questions about that too. But if you're staring at yourself in the mirror, like, you're going to be reactive to absolutely everything you see. You might think that your left knee's coming in when it's actually not. It's maybe the shadow and the light and whatever, and you can start pushing things out or doing things that you shouldn't really be doing. Videoing it is the only way that you can be authentic as to what it should look like, and
Mm.
it gives you different angles as well. The mirror you see in front of you is only front facing. You can't see what your body's doing from the side. So I would always say videoing is a coaching tool rather than, I'm going to touch on what Gary there said though. The only time I disagree with people videoing is if you're being obnoxious about it, but that's very few and far between people in my experience. And if you're being obnoxious about it, it's literally fucking making it look like you're the world revolves around you and you're videoing absolutely everything. Like, but there's a way to do it, you know.
I highly encourage recording in the gym if I'm being perfectly honest. Purely for the reason of checking your form and getting a video across to me as well. Like it's hard for us as online coaches to we can program like no problem at all, but we need to make sure that you are carrying out that program safely, efficiently, and doing the exercises the way that you're supposed to be doing them. So I highly encourage um recording in the gym. Not a lot of people want to do it because they find it embarrassing, which is fair enough. But I think we're going into an age now where we're going to start seeing a lot more people recording in the gym. I was in a pure gym and I think it was Rob Royston, and I was a guy with a tripod. And I'm like, fucking on yourself. I didn't care. It didn't bother me in the slightest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. If the camera's facing at me, personally, I don't care if I'm on it. But if he was to say to me, do you mind? Absolutely not, mate. Go for it. Again, that's just my personal opinion.
I don't know why some people think they're special enough that somebody wants to video them in the first place.
I know, I know. Is AJ's got that video on his camera then?
I think he does actually. Like, I was only speaking to him. To be fair, when I spoke to him, he was fucking raging. His eyes were about to fucking come out his head. I think it was like stopping somebody from getting murdered type job. So I haven't seen it, but I'm going to ask him for a wee look at it and see if we can see it.
Aye. And
I
then on you go, mate. Sorry.
I think he did say that you can hear him in it saying it, but I don't know if you can see him say,
Right.
saying it, but you can hear him like
Get it on TikTok and I'll tag Joey Swole in it.
Joyce will get right in and about it.
Get right in and about it. Here, talking about Joey Swole, what do you make of him just now? Obviously, he started. I don't know if you've seen much of him recently, but obviously he started kind of calling people out who were being dickheads in the gym. But now it's just.
Recently, mate, he's been doing that for about 15 years, mate. That's all he's
Oh
got.
no, I'm saying that's what he started doing, but
All right, sorry,
it's
yeah.
just it's dragging it out too much now.
I've see when you said Joyce, well, I was like, that's a throwback for me. That was like Ronnie Coleman. I thought it was a one-trick pony. I didn't know he was still going. I honestly didn't.
Genuinely still going, mate.
I don't know. There's a few people who do that. There's the Irish Welsh guy who does it as well, and it's like
Oh,
I,
mm,
it's just it's the easiest job in the world for me is just fucking looking at people's videos and slating them and saying that like this is what somebody's done the wrong. It's like the police, mate. It's just the fucking sending something and going, oh, this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. And again, I get how it gets traction, but I'm not a big fan of half those videos most of the time.
me too, mate. I completely agree. Some people do deserve a wee bit of a calling out because they have this sense of entitlement that they own space in a public gym and whatnot. But it's getting mental now, so it is.
Yeah, there was, no, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I was going to say something there that's completely irrelevant and just like,
Oh, come.
nah,
You
mate.
can't do that. Man, you fucking thrown the fishing rod out now. You need to reel us in.
Nah, mate, I was shite at fishing. The pond is frozen, so well,
By the way, when this podcast comes out, man, it is going to be December. Where the fuck is this year gone?
well, according to you, mate, you fucking done the advent calendar till Christmas, so
Oh,
Merry Christmas to you.
the advent calendar's gone, mate. It's done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But aye, 1st of December as like on the release of this episode. So I don't know if you feel the same as me, mate, but I genuinely feel like time is just disappearing. It's just fucking flying. And I don't know what's different now to when I was like 21, 22, because ah, time seemed to drag. Like being 33, 34 seemed like a distant thing in the future. Whereas now I'm like, fuck me, it is flying in.
I was trying to yes, trying to get this conversation myself, get my head around this conversation, because I went through a wee period earlier in the year where I was having a fucking existential crisis and couldn't make fucking, I genuinely couldn't make sense of time at all, and I was like, genuinely felt like I couldn't tell the difference between me dying in fucking 20 years time, 60 years time, and dying tomorrow. I was just like, fuck, feels like I've only been on the planet 12 years old was yesterday and I've now got a son and whatever, and I just had this big fucking question of life. I don't honestly know the answer as to, like, I know we probably didn't ask the question to be as deep as what it is, but I don't know the answer as to why everything does feel so quick. But I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I'm like, I think it's probably because, like, even before this started recording, we were talking about how busy you are, but the things that you're doing to set yourself up for a better life, but the things that you have to do now to get that done, with the financial crisis that's fucking happening and the pressures that come with everything that you're putting so much time and effort into. Every hour of your day is now fucking scheduled as to where you are, what you're doing. It's very little do you get in terms of like having fun. Whereas when you are 20, 21, like you had a lot more time, you had a lot less responsibility. It seemed like you also like that was going to be infinite. You were like, oh, actually,
Yeah.
you know what? Life's gonna be like this forever. You got the new fucking Call of Duty game for Christmas, and you were like buzzing, like you were like, this is class. Like, and also back then you probably didn't have the financial means to be able to buy the things that you want in terms of like you would have to wait for things. So there's excitement behind things, whereas right now you've not got much of that anymore. It's like you can't be excited. Like for me, getting a new Call of Duty game for Christmas is like a fucking kick in the balls because I'm like, well, you're giving me something I've not got any time to play. Like,
Aye, 100%. I completely agree with that. Fuck knows what we're going to do next year when GTA 6 comes out.
I mean, I've somebody sent me a trailer for it. I'm like, I'm not even watching it, mate. Like, I'm just
I'm going
genuinely,
genuinely, I'm going to need to, I might get Rachel up the duff again and then go on paternity for
yeah. I was going to say the funnest thing that you'll have is trying to get Rachel up the duff.
it. It's mad, isn't it, when you actually take a step back and look at it. And do you know what? It makes me start to think about how I want to approach, the rest of my life from here on out. Because so many times I've bailed out in things, I've not done things, that looking back, I feel like I should have done and that I wanted to do. And um, this is probably cliche, and you probably heard this saying before as well, but I think going forward, I would rather regret things that I did do rather than things that I didn't do. Do you know what I mean? And if I'm financially able to do things, then I do want to do. Obviously, I don't want to just fucking go on holidays every couple of weeks and leave Rachel at home with Bear and baby and stuff like that. But within reason, I would I would rather regret trying something or doing something instead of just not doing it at all and always wondering what it would have been like to do that thing. Does that make sense?
100%, mate. Like when I was having the wee, I say the wee, I'm underplaying it. When I was having that moment where I was on the verge of fucking depression, I was like, one of the things that I had sat down and spoke about was actually having more fun in life, as in
Hmm.
scheduling more of the things that I like to do. Having more of the things that excite me, the things that you put off, and like I know I made the joke about not getting time to play Call of Duty, but in all seriousness, like I have actually scheduled a lot more time now where I will sit and I got Silent Hill. I'm playing Silent Hill at the moment, so
Nice.
I'm a good couple of hours into that, mate, and I'm like, yeah, it's actually quite enjoyable. Now having a child makes it a little bit more difficult. But I think when it first started, I was like, well, Finn's now here, and literally all of my time is business,
Hmm.
looking after baby, business. Didn't even have time for me and Jen, let alone even thinking about a PlayStation. Whereas I'm like, do you know what? Priorities are going to be those. Everything else will come on the back. And do you know what? I've actually got better at everything else because I can turn up better with that as opposed to
Aye.
being a
I was going to ask you that. Do you find yourself being a bit more productive with everything that you need to get done because you're starting to do the things that you want to do?
100%, mate. Even like I've noticed it even in my content and stuff. Like I'm finding a lot more flow, a lot easier. Like I'm managing to like find the content that I want to put out again, as opposed to like struggling or like not sounding like me. I'm actually enjoying doing things, and I've got back to the point where I'm like I'm actually running this all for me rather than anybody else. Like whereas I was trying to mold it into, oh, this is what we need to be rather than what I want it to be. If that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. I've dealt with so many clients this year that are in a similar position. Like, um, work takes over, home life takes over, caring for elderly parents or children or sick member of the family takes over, and they actually lose themselves and they don't know how to pull it back. They don't know how to kind of find themselves again. And the amount of times that I've said to people, like, you have to start being selfish. And we've spoken about this. I don't know if we spoke about it last week or the week before, but you have to start being selfish because nobody else is going to put number one first other than you. And when you start being selfish, now I don't mean like completely ignore, like turn your phone on do not disturb and completely ignore everybody for a week or 2 weeks or just piss off on holiday or whatever. Start doing small things that you want to do that give you enjoyment that allows you to let your hair down. Like for you, Kyle, it's playing an hour of Silent Hill. Do you know what I mean? Like something as simple as that. I started playing the Nintendo Switch again last week. Fucking love it. Absolutely love it. I look forward to that in the evenings now, but I set myself a task where I can't pick that Switch up until I get X, Y, and Z done. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it's a reward at the end of the night. Plus, when I'm lying on the couch playing it or whatever, instead of sitting looking at my phone or looking at my laptop screen, the next day I feel better rested. I know I'm looking at another screen, but my brain's working differently. I feel more rested, and I feel ready to hit the work again the very next day. So yeah, I think it's very important. Self-care is not selfish, but you have to sometimes make selfish decisions to allow ourselves to get that self-care that we need.
I think there's a harsh thing potentially that might like you might not be perceived well when I say this, but everything you do in life is a choice. Like, and whilst I get the circumstances are different for everybody, and you might be going through a particular difficult hand right now, a lot of your actions around that are also your choices, and you can choose not to do anything about it. And yeah, things might feel better in the short term, and maybe that's what you feel you need, and that's fine. But understand that has consequences. Like, but at the same time, you do have a choice to be able to control some of the things that you can control. And I've often said that as well. It doesn't need to be going to the gym. It doesn't need to be like it's a lot of things that actually we spoke about this before we started recording. In your own situation, I'm not bringing that up, but like it was more of a some of the things that you don't actually need to tolerate. Like as in like you don't need to just if you've got to go in for a stressful period in your home life or whatever, you don't need to fuel yourself with fucking doner kebabs to make yourself feel better. Maybe remove some of that rather than feeling that you have to do other things. That's a choice. That's the part of the choice that
Yeah.
you can fix. And those are the small things that will actually accumulate over time. Like
100%, and I think that's a very important message to send as well. Like you are in control of what you do and what you feel. Maybe not what you feel, but what you do and the actions that you take. You do have a choice, like Kyle said. Um, Leading into coming up to Christmas as well. This is a very good point to talk about. I can't remember if we mentioned it last week as well, but yeah, obviously it's a busy time of year. Stress levels are up. You're trying to cram in, a lot of work and stuff like that, trying to get everything done before you finish up for the holidays. Loads of social events are happening. Christmas nights out with your pals, Christmas nights out with your workplace. Don't see this as a means to completely forget about yourself, completely forget about your health, and completely forget about any sort of progress as well. Like, again, you are in control. You make the decision. You don't need to go to every single night out. I would say go to the ones that you want to go to, and you can say no to the ones that you don't want to go to. Like, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care as much as you care. You've probably built it up in your head that you need to go. You fucking don't. And even when you do go, or if you do go, you don't need to go absolutely mental and drink all night and go home with a doner kebab. Um, I've been to many Christmas nights out and took the car. Like, I know it's not you're probably going to get a wee bit of pushback off of people that's going, or what you bring in the car for. Fuck them. It's not their choice. If you want to take the car, take the fucking car. If you don't want to go, don't fucking go. Do things for you. Stop doing things for other people, and I guarantee you're going to start feeling a hell of a lot better in such a short space of time.
I'd say a lot of the things that are pushed on us over this period of time are pushed on us are quite new, in the sense that like it's only the last 100 years really that Christmas has always been a thing, I would imagine. But like it's only the last 100 years that like advertisers and marketing started to go, you need to eat selection boxes.
Yeah,
You need to eat, like there's no there's a correlation between like marketing and obesity, like 100%. Like we've now got foods. And it's not entirely your fault, as in like we are human beings who like have emotion when it comes to food. So like when you're presented with something that not only tastes quite good and you're seeing it in every fucking like sure Santa's Coca-Cola, isn't he? Like when you're seeing it on every single advert, you're seeing Santa and the Coca-Cola train, when you're seeing like the roses tins everywhere, the deals, like they're in the house, they're on every table. I can understand that's difficult to ignore.
yeah,
Which actually brings me to the point where I'm like, you can, like, we spoke about this last year, but fuck it. So we're a year on, but like, you can absolutely go for a fat loss phase at Christmas. It
mm,
probably wouldn't be my way of pushing things. I've done it myself before, but at the same time, I'm like, for the majority of people, it's like you are going in hard mode. It absolutely can be done, but for the majority of people, I'd say come out of or come into slightly less of a deficit, or probably actually just go to maintenance, or even if you are going to go on the heavy on the calories, I would very much utilize that to maybe start getting a bit stronger in the gym.
yeah.
But that's how I would kind of flip things around a little bit.
Aye, that's the path that I'm choosing to take right now as well. I know for a fact that I'm not going to be in a fat loss phase over the holidays. I'm probably going to continue eating what I want when I want. So I'm like, I may as well. I know I'm gaining body fat. I know I'm, and I'm okay with that. But I'm utilizing those calories, and I am the strongest I've ever been in terms of uh, my big lifts in the gym. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like those calories are going to waste. So yeah, if you want to be a wee bit more lax with calories, then please just make sure you are utilizing them and getting a positive from it. Yes, you might gain a wee bit of fat, but you also can gain a hell of a lot of strength in the process as well. So think about like Easter time, right? How many cream eggs do people slam at Easter time just because it's a marketing thing? See if cream eggs were on the shelves all year round. Do you think they would be as popular at Easter time?
No, mate, I do enjoy a cream egg right enough, but at Easter time, I'm extra incentivized to.
100%, and it's the same at Christmas when you've got celebrations and mini heroes and stuff like that. Like, people start to get excited when they see them coming back on the shelves. Like, I love celebrations. I fucking think they're amazing. Um, but again, like, see if it was like the middle of summer, I'm not getting stuck into a box of celebrations. No chance.
Yeah, what one of the things I do try and do with people is like knowing when to pull the pin when it comes to if you are in a fat loss phase right now and things are going well. Like, what are again what you touched on? Like, what are the social events we're prioritizing between now and I think the first Monday that's close to Christmas is the 23rd. You've got the 16th for the 23rd, but realistically, I'm clear on like which of those dates are we looking at? As in, like, are we clear about when we're driving this fat loss phase to? Like, for some people it'll be the 16th, and it's like, cool, we'll start ramping up your calories a little bit the week of the 16th so you get used to it, and then come the 23rd you're so used to having more calories you're not going to absolutely have Christmas Day, Boxing Day, whatever it is. I'm not expecting you to fucking track your Christmas dinner. Do what you want between the days and between that week. For most people, providing they've done a good bit before it, it's not going to make or break them. Like they can actually go and enjoy it, and that's why they feel empowered. And then come January time, they're just back to their normal circumstances. But what really rips the arse out of it um, is people who start celebrating, as in like the celebrations out now, or people who
Yeah.
are eating through fucking advent calendars in entirety now. Um, um, leading by example there, but yeah, it's important to look at when you actually like fucking turn the screw in terms of like how you manage the Christmas period. I'd say.
100%. I please do not follow my example of tanning a whole Christmas calendar in one sitting.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I was going to ask what you tracked that as, mate, but I wouldn't imagine you tracked it at all.
I tell you, mate, no tracking at the minute. Uh, aye, it's just all it's all marketing. It's what's getting flung in your face as soon as you walk into the supermarkets as well. Like right at the front door, you've got boxes of roses and boxes of celebrations, and then that's you. Like once that seed is planted, mate, it's just that's all you can think about. Well, it's all I can think about. The food noise is very real in my head, but um. Yes, you absolutely can continue to make progress over the holidays and get yourself going into 2025 in a very good position. And also, like, I think that week between Christmas and New Year as well, it's a bit of a nothing week. Nobody knows whether they're coming or going. Nobody knows if the shops are open, if the pubs are blah, 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 what time's this open to, what time's that open to. So they kind of write that week off as well, um, just by default. Um, if you can rein it in for the week between Christmas and New Year after your Christmas dinner, maybe even Boxing Day on track as well, because you know what it's like with the Christmas dinner leftovers. But if you can start to rein it in from the 27th right up to Hogmanay, I don't know if we've got any. Did the Irish people call it Hogmanay?
No, mate.
Just
But
a Scottish thing?
New Year's Eve.
Hogmanay. Um, so right up to New Year's Eve, if you can rein it back in, New Year, yeah, is it a big one now? It's not really. I think it's died a death New Year over the last kind of 30 or so years, but not expecting you to track a New Year's Day, steak pie for dinner, brilliant, bang, 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 get back on it from the second. That's you setting yourself up to, start 2025 in as best a position as possible. Don't write that week off because I know I've been guilty of it for many, many years in my life. And again, I think it's just this default setting that we all seem to have that week between Christmas and New Year. The calories don't count. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what we don't do. But yeah, again, that's so far from the truth. That is what 5 days of progress that you're missing out on.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here on the high horse and pretend that I'm any different to anybody when it comes to it. When I've come to, I think it was it 2018? I proposed to Jen on her 30th birthday, which would have been yesterday, so 28th of November. Now, with that, there were celebrations in. My family came over for her 30th, but they stayed on for a few days, so I think that led us into December. That led us to the following weekend. I actually looked back on the 29th, I think, or 28th of December, and I was like, I have drank something every single day through the month of December. That was an advent calendar, mate. An advent calendar that wasn't in a box, mate. It was just a bag of cans every day. And I was like, well, there's no point in stopping now. I may as well get through to New Year and fresh start. So momentum's a great thing, in the sense that when you have it, like when you've got a good momentum going, it's good because it makes things very clear. But also when you have bad momentum and bad structure going, it also is very easy to continue with it. So if you start now and all of a sudden, like you've got the first week of December has been a disaster, it's easy to go, oh, do you know what? Actually, we'll just give it, like, we'll try better next week. And going in with trying with no plan, you
Yeah.
then get to the 16th, you're like, oh, do you know what? The first 2 weeks of December haven't been great. We're close enough to Christmas. Christmas next week. May as well just like continue on. We'll start again January. And before you know it, it's January and you're fucking 8 kilos heavier and you're going, I feel miserable. And you're like, well, you're miserable because you're 8 kilos heavier than when you already felt miserable before and you've done nothing but fuel your body in fucking Toblerones.
Ah, hey, what's a chocolate, by the way?
Ah, man. Top tier.
Oh, mate, it's funny that you said that because I've actually said to Rachel, right? I promised Rachel that When we found out we were pregnant, I would also give up the booze.
Oh, you're doing that thing that we were pregnant, are you? When you are pregnant.
When we were pregnant, yeah. I
Yeah.
done fucking most of the work.
Solidarity there, mate. I appreciate that.
uh, I would give up the booze with her. Safe to say that that hasn't happened yet. I've had quite a good amount of booze since we found out. But I've already said in my own mind, I'm just going to see the year out because I know Christmas is going to be wild. I've got 3 nights out with three different groups of mates. I've got a Christmas night out. So it's funny that you mentioned that because it never really highlighted it to me until then. Do you know what I mean? Like I've already written this year off in terms of I'm just going to do what I want for the rest of the year now. Um, like I say, I'm training as hard as I possibly can, but there is some more things that I could do to pull it back. So I then do start 2025 in a much better position than I am in now. If I continue to go the way I'm going, especially in terms of food, like drinking, I'm only doing it every so often. It's maybe I'm saying once a week, but a couple of beers at the weekend if I'm meeting somebody or if we've got an event on. It's not mad booze and I'm not getting absolutely hammered every day. But in terms of the food, like I definitely can pull it back and get myself in a wee bit better shape going into 2025 and focus and start building that momentum up. So that's definitely something that I would back you up on as well. Highly recommend. Like start building momentum now, and then by the time January comes round, the Monday of the year, was it the Monday of all Mondays? Yeah, January's fucking horrendous for you to try and get started because everybody's trying to get started and you stick to it for 2 weeks and then that's sure you're right back to square one. But if you can start building that momentum now, you're making it a hell of a lot easier for you to continue on into January and then throughout the rest of 2025.
Yeah, like over here, I don't know how it works. Sorry, over in Scotland, is it like you're?
When did you move to Ireland?
I mean, I've not lived in Scotland since like I've lived for Scotland 1 year out of the last 12, mate. Like
Fuck, that's quite all right. Right, okay, I'll let you away with that then.
genuinely, since I moved to Australia when I was 21, I've lived in Scotland for 1 year, mate. Like that's
Nice, nice.
I actually genuinely have like since being legal age of drinking, I've had 3 years in Scotland, mate. So when people ask me like what's the crack in Scotland or Glasgow, I'm like I don't have a fucking clue, mate. Like that's yeah. Anyway, sorry. The 2nd of January, that's a holiday for you guys, isn't it?
It used to be, but it's becoming less and less of a holiday.
Pretty sure the Celtic Rangers are playing on that day because it's caused a bit of controversy over here because it's not a holiday for anybody over here
Right.
for the majority of people. So there's a lot of boys who've booked it off work to obviously watch the game, but like they're being questioned by like the people with families in the workplace going, "Oh, do you really need to have it off or whatever?" Because obviously they're fighting for the day off and like, no, I want to watch Celtic Rangers. But
Aye, aye, aye.
mad how that's on the 2nd this year and it's not a holiday for everybody. Like.
I know, I know. Aye, the second used to be a holiday here. Fuck, the first is becoming less of a holiday as well now, man. Shops are opening and stuff on the first.
Yeah, well, as you said, I think New Year's become less a thing. It's one of those like I've never seen. I think I've probably had the only times I remember New Year being decent was actually being younger and when people were having parties and you had like what was it, fucking tune the fat on and stuff.
Aye, aye,
Was
aye. And, only an excuse.
only an excuse. You don't get any of that anymore.
I know it's just reruns are still game and stuff now, innit? But yeah, it's becoming less and less of a thing now, and I think again that is just because of the world that we live in these days. Like because shops are opening on the first, nobody's going out on New Year's Eve because they're working the next day. It's just all these kind of money grabbing pen pushers at the top, innit?
Oh yeah, mate. You get. I was gonna say we definitely sound like we're getting into da chat here, going well. It's just not the same as what it used to be.
Aye.
The way the world that we live in, but yeah, mate, I think just it's you get everything that you want in terms of you can put something on net. Like you can have 5 different people watching 5 different devices on New Year's Eve. Like 15, 20 years ago, you'd have everybody watching the same thing. So
Yeah.
like you've got that. You've got people who out of the 5 different people who are watching 5 different devices, 3 of them are working the next day, 2 of them aren't. Like it's difficult to get everybody doing the same thing and feel that level of. I think that's one of the bigger issues I have. I love fucking technology, but at the same time, I'm like, it's just hard to get everybody doing the same thing or having the same
Yeah.
experience. Like me and Jen are guilty of this. You and Rachel, I'm sure, are as well. But we can have a TV on, we both be on our phones. Sometimes I really try my best not to, but even when I'm trying my best not to, I'm like feeling pulled. If I don't take my watch off as well, I'm like, I'll get fucking see a message and I'll be like, oh,
Yeah,
the thought process of getting back to it, and then I'm like, oh, then it's on my mind, and then I'll just get back to it. But then that starts seeing another message before I know it. There's half an hour gone. I've not seen what's happening on the TV, and then you know what? It's like you're going. Me and Jen are having two very different experiences. But then there's all the times where she'll be on her phone and she's incapable of not putting fucking TikToks on while she's watching TV, and I'm like, how can you listen to two different things at the same time?
yeah. I know, man. It's crazy how our brains are becoming like rewired in it. You're absolutely right in what you say in terms of kind of sitting on your phone on the couch and stuff. I have started to leave my phone in a separate room now, like especially when I go to bed. Like my phone goes in a separate room because I was finding myself like uh having a wee bit of a Reddit scroll in the evening, lying in bed, turning over, going to sleep, waking up in the morning, and the first thing I did was check my phone. First thing I did, I wasn't even out of bed yet. I had one eye open and I would check my phone.
I don't know. It's always been with your phone. I've noticed this though. But when you send you a message, it always only one ticks it for a good amount of time before it double ticks it. Like, have you got some sort of settings on there that stops it?
Aye. Because I'm sick of WhatsApps pinging through, so I don't actually get my WhatsApps through until I load up the app.
Yeah, I was always. You've had that for years, man. Like, I always used to message you. I'm like, fucking one ticked, mate. One tick
Aye,
time.
because I went through. I think it's when we started traveling, and I went through a phase of taking days to get back to people because I just hated being on my phone. So, I set that up back then, and I've just never taken it off, and it's great, mate. Like I don't get notifications for WhatsApp. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass when somebody's trying to get a hold of me and they're like, "Oh, phone me or whatever." Um, but I'm on my phone enough that I catch it sometimes within a few hours. So it's a fantastic setting to have, mate, because my brain works the same as yours. When I see a message, I cannot stop thinking about it until I get back to it. But this has given me a wee bit more freedom. Just not having that kind of that message ping through and stuff like that. My other phone, my work phone, that is, I don't know how to set it. I don't know how I done that setting. So I've still got notifications coming through on my work phone, but luckily nobody has that number, so they don't WhatsApp me.
Yeah, fair enough. Um, it actually just made me think of this. Somebody I seen on Instagram who put up one of those posts that actually triggered me a wee bit. That was like, if you've got time to scroll on Instagram, if you've got time to go for a piss, if you've got time to sit down on the toilet, whatever, you've got time to message your mates or whatever it was. And it kind of was like, right, so, well, you're pretty much saying that if I've got time to fucking breathe right now, I've got time to message my mates. I'm like,
Mm.
I've got a list. If you looked at my phone, of probably about. If you went to unread messages, I'd say there's probably messages from fucking 1997 that I've just not opened. Like there's a ton of messages I have that I've not got back to, and I'm like, it's difficult to to keep on top of that for me. I'm shite at messaging whatever, but then the same person within almost the same week had to say a thing up going, oh, you need to protect your boundaries. If you don't want to say yes to something, don't say yes. I'm like, that's a very contrasting message. I'm like, you can't tell somebody or make them feel guilty but not message somebody back, but then also saying that you need to get back to it. Because my issue
Aye.
is, I message somebody. Do you know what happens? I get another message back. And I message somebody again. I get another message back and a message back, and it just goes back and forth like a game
Yeah.
of fucking shite table tennis. And it's like, I'd rather voice message or phone somebody to get super direct in terms of what it is. It's different with clients because clearly I have to message clients like consistently. But when you've got 70 clients and you've got a constant stream of messages in there, there's always somebody to get back to or something to do. But like, I will always get back to people. I don't leave, like, I know I said I made a joke about having messages from 1997. I don't think that's true. Got rid of that phone, burned it. But I'm like, I will always get back to people, but I see this fucking demand of like, oh, see if another one that triggered me. See if you don't have time to get back to me, just message me saying you'll get back to me later. I'm like,
Oh,
do you know how much
why?
time? Do you know how much time it would take me? Like, see if I message 40 people back, going, "I'll get back to you later. I'll get back to you later. I'll get back to you later. I'll get back to you later." I'd rather message, seeing the time it takes. I'd rather message 7 people back with the answers that they need, rather than have to
Aye.
message 40 people saying, "I'll get back to you later."
100%. Here's a good wee tip for you to do as well, and I don't know if excuse me, you've done it before. Flight mode your phone, then get back to everybody, then
Oh,
unflight mode your phone, and it sends all the messages at the same time. So that means when you've, your 4 or 5 people down the list, the first person starts to get back to you, that cuts that out, stops that from happening.
I used to do that with check-ins where I would schedule them. So I'd do all my check-ins on Monday and I'd schedule them for like 6 p.m. And like everybody would just get a check-in at 6 p.m. And I remember somebody asked me going, why do you do that? And I was like, because the thing is, if I message somebody, and like to be fair, I've changed it now, but at the time, I'm like, when I didn't have the same amount of time in biofitness as I do now, but like if I message somebody at 9 o'clock in the morning, my check-in, they might get back to me at fucking 9:20, and it's like they've asked another question, and
Yeah.
it's like, but then I either decide am I taking that question or I've got another person in the queue who's next that I'm meant to do a check in. Like, what did I do in that situation? And if I do that with every single person, you don't get fucking anything done. You just spent an hour speaking to them. Whereas I'm like, if I do everybody's at once, everybody who's got fucking questions files them over to me around about the same time, which means I can get back to everybody all at once. It's fucking great.
Yes. So to summarise, we will eventually get back to you when these messages. We
Don't
went off on a wee bit of a tangent there.
don't messages.
No messages. Make it easy for us both, eh?
No,
Right. Have you got anything else that you want to talk about? Anything that you've I've lost you, Kyle. Are you still there?
I'm still here, mate. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you've frozen now on my side. I've still got
I
you.
think it might be Kyle's Wi-Fi.
Fucking blame me, mate.
I don't even know if this is going to still be recording because it's on Kyle.
Fucking speaking to me like I'm not here. Right, well, we're going to keep on going with the show. To summarise what Gary and I were talking about, because apparently he's not here. Don't know if he can hear me. Make sure that whilst you're having higher amounts of calories, that you're still training. Ideally, once or twice a week, you'll get stronger. Happy days. Try not to pull the band-aid off too quickly when it comes to your calories, because ultimately that's going to lead to overspill.
It left yours.
Sorry, mate, I've just started recording again. We've got Gary back. So, from what it looked like, mate, is you were going, oh, we've lost Kyle, but then you started freezing, and I was like, well, I don't know. We'll see in the recording.
We'll see in the recording. Apologies everybody for that confusion, but we are back now and we're going to summarise what the fuck we were talking about.
Well, mate, I already said, you can add anything else in that you want, is whilst you're eating higher calories over the Christmas period, still train, ideally once to twice a week, just to get stronger. Don't pull the pin too early in terms of Christmas because it will lead to a massive amount of overspill. So be clear about the intentions. That's about as far as I got, and then obviously I invited you back in.
You pretty much summarised what we were talking about, and you know the goals that we were kind of setting for people. Don't write the rest of the year off just yet. Like I said, be super clear with where you want to be going into 2025. Just because it's Christmas time doesn't give you an excuse to be an arsehole. So yeah, don't be that arsehole.
Yes, agreed. All of that. Nobody wants to be the arsehole.
Yeah, please do not follow my example and don't tan your whole calendar on one go.
I'm going to put that up as an Instagram poll. Do you tan your Do you tan your Instagram? Do you tan your Advent calendar in one go?
Let's do it. Okay, I'm interested. I know what my answer is going to be.
Mate, I don't know what it was, mate. I used to be petrified that my mum or dad would batter me if they found out I had even an extra chocolate. So I never done it. But I'm like, I know tons of people. I think I was the only kid who didn't do it.
Well, I was the same, mate. I never ever done it as well. That's what growing up in the streets of Glasgow does to you, innit? Makes you scared to open fucking day two when it's the 1st of December in your calendar.
Mate, speaking of things, like, again, we're going back down fucking memory lane here, but like, see, when I was younger, mate, I was honestly petrified of breaking rules, mate. I was like, oh, you can't do that. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Genuinely didn't know what was going to happen. And now it's the opposite, mate. Like, I don't abide by any. I'm like, fucking making up for lost time.
It's freedom. That's because you watched Braveheart on repeat as you were growing up.
I was happier with rules, mate. I'm fucking miserable now. I'm breaking them all.
100%. But no, listen, mate. This was it was a good wee chat. Hopefully, you know the people can take some value from what we're talking about. Let everybody know that's listening where they can find you.
Kyle_biofitness1 on Instagram. Gary, where can I find you?
At gmac_health and fitness on Instagram as well. You can patch my Facebook page because I don't fucking use it. If you want me on Facebook, add me personally. I don't use my business page.
somebody, you know what, I went on to, just before we go, I went on to my Facebook Messenger about, I think it was like 3 months ago in September. I had messages from like fucking February that I hadn't seen because I just don't use Facebook. I don't have notifications for it. I'm like, I know I joke about don't like message me. I mean, also is message me if you've got any questions. Don't do it on Facebook because I literally will constantly get back to
Yes, Instagram is the place to get in touch with.
you. Yeah.
Uh,
Right, troops. Have a wonderful December. We'll see you every fucking week in December. But yeah,
yes, indeed. Also, thank you, Dave and Toby, for the music as always. Have a good one, folks, and see you all next week.
see you next week.